Hey guys, my name's Nevaeh Vela. If you didn't know, it's a Gloria in between, and I'm here to inform you very important things, guys. So stay tuned, okay? So, did you know that we live in the United States, which is a democracy, which means that we have the right as citizens to vote? If you don't know what voting is, or if you don't vote, or if you just you're like, huh, never heard of it. Anyways, I'm gonna tell you how to do it, how you can register, where you can vote, who you should, not who you should vote for, but different candidates that are representing the Democrats and the Republicans and all that jazz. Democrats support a strong federal government, so they do not support really a lot of states' rights. And this is just kind of the general idea, and this is not for every candidate that is speaking, so that's why it's important to do your research on every single candidate that is running for presidency. Democrats also support financial aid, social services such as food stamps and the general, welfare and things like that. They support benefits for low-income families, and Democrats also support the benefits for the poor and the unemployed and people who are trying to get jobs and aren't having the best luck finding jobs, as well as supporting the separation of church and state, which is very important. If you don't know about that, I want you to do some research on that on your own. Also, they do support the protection of our civil rights. So, now that I told you what a Democrat is, let me give you a little bit of information about some of the candidates that are running. So, for example, Joseph R. Biden Jr., his goals are, or what he supports, is restoring America's standing point on the global stage, which I feel is very important because America is one of the biggest factors in trade and everything like that, such as weapons and food and exchanging with different countries around the world. Alrighty, so now that you know what a Democratic is and some of the presidential candidates that are running, I'm going to talk to you about what a Republican is. Okay, so Republican, they support states' rights. They support reducing taxes to stimulate the economy, aka why a lot of people voted for Trump, and he actually is fixing our taxes to some point. And they oppose government-funded social programs, which is basically the opposite of what a Democrat supports. And they're in favor of increased government regulation, and they support no gun control. And of course, we know Donald Trump is running for presidency again, and he supports restricting immigration and building a wall across Mexico's border. He wants to regenerate or cancel international deals of trade, arms control, and climate change. He also surprisingly wants to withdraw American troops from overseas. He says that considering that we have done more than any administration in the first 2 years, this should be easy. More great things now in the works. So guys, I've gotten this information off of the New York Times. Simply look up who is running for presidency, and you can click on one person who you find interesting, and you can read a quote from them, what they support, and you can also have the link to visit their presidential campaign page. I feel that this is very important because you will and should be voting for who is making the rules for you. So if you don't know how to register to vote, or if you're not sure that if you have, you can go to this website, vote.gov, and you can look up your registration number for the voting polls. So if you're given the opportunity to register through school or through your college or something like that, I suggest you do the opportunity and take it, because you have to go through some steps. If you haven't taken the opportunity, or if you haven't been given the opportunity to fill out a registration card at school or at your college, you can go to vote.gov, and all you have to do is download the voter registration. All you need is your simple things, your name and address, mailing address, your date of birth, telephone number, your identification number, and your choice of party. You don't really have to fill it out, but you can if you want to. Or your race or ethnic group, and of course your signature. For Texas, this does differ for all the different states, the rules that do apply to register to vote. You have to register 30 days before the election, So basically a month before the election. So for Texas, in order to register, you have to do it by mail. And you have to show a proof of identification. You would mail it to the Office of the Secretary of State, Elections Division, and then the P.O. Box would be 12060 to Austin, Texas 78711-2060. I know you're not going to remember all those numbers, but you could rewind this and pause and write it down if you're willing to, because voting is very important. And let me tell you why. All right, guys. So a lot of people complain about voting and how even if you do vote, it is not going to make a difference or make a change in or support all the things that you are wanting for your country or simply just for yourself to live by. That takes into account the people who actually say those things and do vote because they've tried to vote and they see no change, compared to the people who don't actually take time out of their day, it's one time every 4 years that you can vote for presidency. You can also vote for other things like governor, mayor, and stuff like that, just to let you know. But I'm talking about the presidency since this is the year that we get to vote. And I feel it is very important to reach out to the youth. And the youth is going to be the most affected by this presidency because people 18 to 25 years old, they usually do not feel that voting is important to them because they are not like full-grown adults. This election is very important to you because this immediately affects the next 4 years of your life, and not enough people of the youth are informed of that and informed of the importance of participating in this participatory system that is created by the people. We are supply and demand. We are the people who run this. We are the workers, and we are what makes the economy go around. Watching a video about a news anchor researcher who did a study on why millennials don't feel the need to vote. And one of the reasons that was brought up was because the candidates are not trustworthy. They say things that will catch your attention, and then whenever they're in the presidency, they turn around and do something completely different. I completely understand this, and I know that you as a viewer of this probably don't vote because of the same thing. Well, honestly, that's just how life is. You have to be willing to put enough trust into somebody or something in order for it to work, because if you don't risk that chance of it not working and actually fighting for what you feel is right and what you trust should be right or is right, then you'll never know if it'll happen. So it is important to put your trust into these presidential candidates, because if you don't put any type of trust in them, the wrong people will end up in the White House. So just like you follow your local skateboarder brands or your celebrities who you feel is so important to follow and keep up with, I think you should follow a couple more Instagram pages, for example, called Now This Politics or Now This News or at The Daily Show. These different political platforms on Instagram show different news that are popping up with different presidential candidates and the Senate and congressmen and women and things like that, which I feel is very important. You don't have to like everything. You don't have to watch every single thing. But if you see something that catches your attention, I suggest that you do watch it whenever it comes to voting and something that is affecting a presidential candidate that you are voting for or hoping for or supporting. So this is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people do not vote. Speaking from like 18 to 25 years old. They feel that it takes too much time out of their day to vote. You have to register, and then you have to get the registration card back, and then you have to go to the place such as your public library or an elementary school. But honestly, I feel like that we don't realize the type of privilege that we've been given. So if you're willing to take your time and go drive all the way to the mall and park and get down and go to these different multiple stores and shop, and then have to take all those bags back to your car, that is taking time out of your day, and that is taking time out of something that you could be doing way more productive. And this is honestly talking about who is going to be enforcing these rules that you have to follow and these regulations and things like that. And I feel like we forget how lucky we are as American citizens. So in conclusion to all this rambling and mess and a lot of information I kind of shared with you, just to let you know, I want to say that I really hope this encouraged you to do some research. If not, get your registration card. If not, share this video at least to somebody who you feel might find this interesting and making them willing to vote. Voting is what we need to do. V-O-T-E. Remember that you are in control. We, the people. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to share.